Welcome to Drinks and a Movie, where I bring the pour.
Now bring the gore. I'm Zach.
I'm Mike, and this is our first ever episode. And this is how it works. Zach is going to pick the tape from his home rental store, which you can see in behind him, and I am going to pick what we are drinking. This week, Zach, what do you got for us?
I got 1991's Ernest Scared Stupid. One of the best movies ever made. It's on my Mount Rushmore of horror movies, despite some people would argue it's not a horror movie, but Trantor fucking terrorized me as a kid.
Can you give us a quick synopsis rundown? Although, we're not too deep into plot with this one, but what's the quick spoiler-free rundown of this one?
Well, it would in the town of wherever Ernest lives, somewhere in Tennessee, some a ghoulish ghoul gets resurrected from a tree, and it's up to Ernest and some local youths to save the day. And also Catwoman helps as well.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about her. I got some things to. All right, so we got to have a drink with this one. Um, I told Zach we're gonna drink some Eagle Rare 10. All right, so Ernest, Kentucky boy. So right away, this was easy. We're going Kentucky bourbon. But Eagle Rare is just so Americana, and nothing is more Americana than Ernest himself. So I figured a boy who grew up in Texas, I'm sure he had to be a bourbon guy, and the American Eagle here, Eagle Rare, I think is just the most fitting pick for our dear friend Ernest. So we got the drink in hand. Um, Cheers, Zach. Let's jump into this one.
Cheers. Delicious.
I will say that this is one that, as of late, maybe this is fitting for like the movie too. I've been coming back to, early in my infancy of my journey in bourbon, I was into Eagle Rare and some of the those staple legacy distilleries. And then it kind of got lost in the shuffle. I started collecting other bottles, became a little bit highbrow. You're chasing other stuff. And I feel like solid Eagle Rare 10 is is comforting, it's familiar, it brings me back. And I think that's what this movie does for me as well. So it's a nice pour. And I always get this nice grape note. I'm not gonna do these notes with you again, like the cherry, but I get this like big purple grape note. I don't know, but what do you think?
Mike, we've gone over this a handful of times. I'm not very whiskey smart. Maybe.
But you like it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get the grape. Like I don't
It's
know. I
always
feel, I feel like you can tell me it tastes like anything. I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
it's so
Like,
subjective. And you know what? When I think back to it, I'm sure I was listening to somebody else on a show or a podcast who said, this tastes like big old purple grape. And ever since then, I sip this and will tell you that you're supposed to taste grape. Either way, it's good. I think like what I'm getting when I think about the grape is just that you can tell there's age on this. I mean, in 10 years, we've come out of this like bourbon bubble a bit where there's a lot of 4 or 5 year stuff. Nice coming back to like 10-year stuff readily available on the shelf. Those everyday sippers, not too high in proof. But yeah, I think this one lands really, really well. But speaking of sips and the sip system, we're going to take this and tie it over to our discussion of the movie. So we're going to go nose, palate, finish. And on the nose, first we got to talk about initial impressions. So how did you feel going into the movie? Expectations? You kind of teased like memories watching it beforehand. What's your initial nose on this movie?
uh, I mean, I don't remember the first time I watched Ernest Scared Stupid because it's like one of those things from your childhood that was just always there. Like nobody remembers the first time they had a vanilla wafer, but everybody's fucked with vanilla wafers. But it's just that like this box art, like I don't like this is like I have to think about this box at least once a week. Like it's just like it's like that old friend that I've always had. And like everything about this movie. It was like a kid's movie, but a little like dicier and also like kind of gives you the origin of why Ernest is like an idiot. You
Yeah.
know, because it was like, Trantor like curses his super great relative, and then like fast forwards, he's just like a bumbling garbage man. Like yeah, like I mean that's more of an origin. Like it all makes sense now. It's like fucking Ernest. It wasn't supposed to turn out this way. It's that fucking troll did it.
He could have had a
Like,
little bit of a higher IQ, but that fucking troll messed him up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I had the same thing where it's like I can't remember the first time that I watched it. And in my mind, I think I had a bit of a different movie. I'll be honest, like I haven't watched it in years. But like growing up, I rented it. I know, shame on me, but I rented it always growing up. Like it was one of those like on the regular rotation that you would just keep like I'd rent the same WrestleMania 3, Ernest Scared Stupid, Halloween, and there was like a same like group of movies that I would always rent. But that was in the mix. But in my mind, like I remember the troll, and I just remember being more scared than I expected. And kind of like you said, it kind of tolls the line between it tolls the line between it's a kid-friendly movie, but then it kind of gets pretty creepy. And my cousin, who I used to watch all these movies with, um, man, he ruined so much for me because he would be like, we'd be at a park and he'd be like, "That's the tree over there." And he's like, "That's where the trolls are." And yeah, it had so much more of an impact. And it was like even more terrifying that it's a creature who actually wants the souls of children.
The connection I have to Ernest Scared Stupid is that I went to school with a Jim Varney relative. His name's Dave Varney, and he's actually a really good artist. So like he like makes like these like fucking gnarly zines. Dude, I swear to God, these are just sitting next to the popcorn machine. I looked over, like, oh, that's fucking super convenient. But like the dude does like fucking super gnarly stuff. It is an absolute powerhouse drummer. He plays in this band Ed Hockley, which is incredible. And he also played drums in Horses at People Teeth, which was bars bar none my favorite local band ever in this area.
Figured you kick it off. You're our resident expert, and tell me kind of one thing that really stood out for you that you enjoy about this film, besides everything.
First off, Everett, the whole thing. My first impression is Ernest is earnesty as ever.
Yeah.
Just being as earnest. The kid actors probably could have shopped around. Like, you know, but the and obviously the Ernest gags are classic. The Halloween theme in it is Bucky. Like I want to live inside this movie. Like if I
Yeah.
could live in Ernest Scared Stupid till the end of time, I would.
The idea of recycling props. So this is something that like I had already known going into it. So revisiting it, it was a really cool thing to stand out for me because okay, if we think about um like what the trolls look like, they're menacing and they're scary and they're just dripping with ooze. And then I found out that Chiodo Brothers reused the killer clowns from outer space. And when I saw it, I was like, cool. Now again, people online were like, oh, well, it's just recycled. I'm like, that's so cool because Ernest is in sanitation and he's all about recycling. So I'm like, this movie, like there's a follow through theme here where we're talking about recycling. And I thought like the whole point I'm saying is that like the practical effects really amp it up. Like when you think of what the trolls look like or the oozing spawn in the tree, like that
Oh,
shit just like
balls,
yeah, just like they're
just
just
booger
dripping.
Brussels sprouts. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, Booker Brussels. Yes. And I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, it ties back to like where practical effects um make you buy in more and suspend the imagination a little bit more when you see those things on screen. And then one more just like of recycling. Then I found out like pizza props were reused in the film as well from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. And I was like, pfft, like,
This is one of the ooziest movies in the
yeah,
history of ooze.
one might even say it's oozing machismo, but
My man.
yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And again, it just if like all jokes aside, it's just like really good practical effects do such a wonder. And that's what really sold it home for me because as a child, I was still so damn scared about encountering one of the trolls in my neighborhood park.
Yeah, so funny enough, I had this conversation with Lou Temple just the other day about we were talking about his movie Seven Cemeteries. We was like talking, he's like, the effects in it, and he was like, yeah, some of the effects were a little like dodgy, but like the movie's still pretty fun to watch. And like I feel like it doesn't matter if you have like CGI, like if it's like dodgy CGI, like I don't think dodgy CGI is any worse than like really good CGI. To circle back to the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, reusing the Chiodo brothers working on both. I think they just like repainted them and like changed the noses. But like like comparing the like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, like Ernest Scared Stupid, I think Ernest Scared Stupid does a better job coming off creepy than Killer Clowns from Outer Space ever did. So
Yeah.
like the instance when Ernest and like Trantor have like the truck battle racing in reverse, and how about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
Pulverizes them like that's I feel like that's like more like isolated and like eerie, like just like you ever watch the scene, like the settings, like it's like more atmospheric than I think anything in Killer Clowns, which is like, I mean, I'm not trashing Killer Clowns, love that
Yeah.
movie. I think I think Ernest did Scary better than Killer Clowns.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's a great point because like the Killer Clowns, I mean, obviously there's a clown aspect, but you could tell they were going for more full head-on horror, where Ernest Scared Stupid was again like towing the line between a children's movie, but like yeah, some of like I think it's like POV shots, but like the kids walking around at night, and like the troll is kind of like stalking, and so I love like that element of like it's atmospheric, it's creepy, and then when you do see them, it's super convincing because you have these dripping with ooze trolls that are horrendous to look at. And yeah, if you're like, if watching it, especially like if I was a kid and this creature came running out of the bush to turn me into cardboard, I'd be shitting myself. So for me, yeah, I think like, and supposedly that's what they said was the downfall of the film with Disney was that it almost went too
Yeah,
dark and too horror.
it's too dicey for the kids.
One of my key things I took away was Eartha Kitt, and we talked about Old Lady Hackmore. When you look at her, it looks like she just wandered right out of a Tim Burton movie, first of all, and then even like the setting with her house and all of this clutter on the front lawn, and again, even this is creepy. But I feel like when I watched it again, I remembered her as a character, but like she's also this like anchor to like the lore and help like feed the exposition a little bit more. And I think it really balances well with like Ernest carrying the slapstick funny stuff, and she kind of like brings it back in. And even like the one line, like they're going back and forth, and she's like, "You haven't seen horrible until you see what it does to the children," and you're like, "Oh shit, we're actually dealing with something pretty serious," because up until now, we still have these silly moments and Ernest doing his thing, his slapstick shit, and then she kind of brings it back to like, oh, but this can get scary, and so it does.
When the film resolves, if you made it this far and you haven't seen Ernest Scared Stupid, like I'm gonna spoil it for you. Okay, sorry. Well, when they save all the souls from the troll tree, and like old lady Hackmore is like it's her siblings or like families like coming out of the trees, but like oh, like I lived my entire life without my sister, and then like I get my sister back like when I'm fucking 80, like that's fucking dark. That
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
Like, oh hey, see ya. Well, like we didn't hang out for a really long time. Like we're about to not hang out for a really long time again.
So in terms of like um anything that doesn't fly, is there anything like, because I figured when we go through this series and we talk about what worked and what didn't work, I still don't know what I would go with in terms of like it not working, because I feel like biasly I'm going to justify everything. So I was actually, that's why like I ended up online just to see what people are saying, because I don't know where I would like take a poke at this. Um, People have mentioned plot and the idea of it like being held by like duct tape and troll goo. But I'm like, again, you know what you're watching. Like you're watching Ernest. They do just enough to give you the background that right off the beginning, they give you the lore of his family legacy, and there's this curse on him and the family. And then we get old lady Hackmore, and she gives us some background. So I'm like that's enough for an Ernest movie. You don't need that much. So I know I'm taking a negative and turning into a positive, but yeah, I couldn't really find much that actually the child actors maybe.
I mean,
Maybe the child
I
actors.
feel like if they would have been better actors, the movie wouldn't be as good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
no,
You're right.
I refuse to say anything bad about this movie. Like me like saying like this movie could be better is like me saying Texas Chainsaw Massacre could be better. Like it's
Yeah.
you fucking can.
Yeah.
It's great because it's great, and you know that
Stop being so highbrow, and when you get to the gates of heaven, God will judge you if you've given a criticism of this movie.
or how
At
about
first,
just
if you
have
haven't watched it, but then if
fucking
you've watched
time?
it and you have criticism,
Yeah, just enjoy yourself. It's a fucking Ernest movie. We aren't watching fucking the Titanic. Like, like Ernest isn't hating anybody like one of his French girls. Like, fucking relax.
yeah, this is a divine gift just to enjoy for what it is. And whether it's a time capsule or not, like it did exactly what it has to do for us. And that's why um it lives in our memories. That's why we're here talking about it, because it's just that good of a movie.
Perfect. Perfect movie. That's what I'm
In
saying.
in
Like,
terms of final sip, we said like we look at finishing, like the lingering impact, and I think we're already kind of like treading in that territory. Um So we said this is the part we talk about, does the movie stick with you? Is it a rewatch? Kind of like final thoughts.
Road, would you like to lead the way on this one? You want me to
So
head
yeah,
this?
yeah, no, and then you'll bring it home for me, all right? To me, it's all encompassing of what horror should be. Like it should be fun but scary, and I think a lot of movies aim to be this in the genre, and I feel like this does it perfectly. So yeah, that's my kind of final thought on the takeaway. But I'll let you bring this home and tell us why this is the best movie ever.
Well, no, all jokes aside, I've watched this movie more than I watch any movie. I have to watch this movie. I like realistically four
Even more
times.
than Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because like this is like Texas Chainsaw. Like, if I'm watching Texas Chainsaw, I'm fucking huckered down. I'm sitting down. I'm like glued in. I'm also, yeah, I mean, it's a one of the best movies ever made, but it's also not the most joyous movie ever made. Like you're not watching that like, man, this makes me feel so good. Like this is like my ultimate comfort food. This is a movie that I revisit more often than any. I love everything about it. I love the Halloween settings and parties. Like it's on par with Hocus Pocus. It's like Halloween Party, which is a fucking legendary Halloween party. And like, like the Trantor is terrifying when Trantor gets extra boogery. Also pretty ghoulish Trantor.
Yeah,
The
two noses too. Gives you two noses to get boogery.
Yeah, that dude can just fucking just destroy handkerchiefs. Uh and then like then you have like the funny scenes like when that dude's selling Ernest all the troll trap stuff,
Yeah.
like running down the list. And then this scene where like the kid is like mad at her mom about the pizza, with
Yes.
unconditional love scene, like
I,
you
I
know,
wanted to ask you as a takeaway too. How did you feel about the whole unconditional love paired with milk being the kryptonite for the trolls?
uh, well, being a dad, it makes all this it makes more sense to me now than it did then.
Think about that, milk and unconditional love.
And out of season Miak, which is wildly hard to get.
So the verdict. This is where we give our poor rating. And I figured we'd go with like neat, it's perfect. On the rocks, solid but flawed. And watered down, you maybe skip it the next time. I feel like I know where we're both going with this, obviously, but we got to introduce the format because moving forward, I'm sure we'll get to a few that maybe aren't neat.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was just thinking. Like, like when trapped, like treading the water of like a new format, we also like picked like I mean, at least for me, it's like
We set the bar high.
top tier movies for me. So it's just like, dude, fucking all the way, yes.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is like for me, it's obviously neat all the way, but I can see if like you're watching it now, I guess if you're younger, maybe it doesn't land or won't be this as impactful as
Yeah,
it was for us growing up.
everybody loves nostalgic Halloween scenes. Everybody wants nostalgic Halloween scenes. Like, it's like
Dude,
I've
that's
never,
why there's reels on Instagram where it's like you're in the 90s. This
Yeah.
is Halloween. And then just like images from Ernest
play
Scared
it
Stupid.
every time on me.
This Halloween season, lock your doors,
Too smart for you, huh?
bolt your windows,
This is just the kind of Halloween prank that gets people hurt.
and hang on tight. Because Ernest is back.
Me?
And he's scared. Stupid. Ernest Scared Stupid. Share it.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Drinks and a Movie. Until next time, keep your tapes rewound and your glasses full. Cheers.
Cheers.